Okay, welcome back to Demonetization Day 9, but maybe we have some progress today. I'm going to attempt to stay at least a vaguely consistent distance from the microphone, but I make no promises. Right, let's see. Are we live? Yes, I think we are, so we're all good. Okay. So, thank you to everyone who watched my video yesterday. It is currently YouTube ranks your previous 10 videos based on how many views they got compared to other videos in that time frame. So, in your first 20 hours, this video is ranked 4th out of 10. So, 3 videos got more views than it, and 6 got less, or whatever. The demonetization video has broken orbit. It is ranked 1 out of 10, so YouTube is pushing it really hard, and it has gone out to a bunch of people who don't even know who I am, which is hilarious. All right, so the story so far, for those of you who just want a brief update and then to go away again, perfectly understandable. I got an email on Monday. I tried the form again after a few days break on Monday. I've been trying this form, I think we're up to 12 times now, and Creator Support said, look, this is the form you have to fill in. If it won't let you fill it in, then we have trouble. So I tried to fill it in for the 12th time and said, no, it's still not working. We've tried 3 different browsers and 2 different operating systems at this point. I think we can safely say there is a problem that neither of us can fix. So Creator Support said, right, we need your partner manager. At this point, we need your partner manager, and your partner manager needs to file an appeal on your behalf, because we still don't, nobody knows why I've been demonetized. Normally, when you work with Creator Support, they say what at least the general reason is, but they don't know because we can't fill in the form. So, I managed to, Tuesday was a day where my partner manager was hosting some kind of shorts related Google Meet event. And I got the email for it. And so I went to the shorts related Google Meet event and I said, hey, I'm really just here because I've been demonetized and they need you to do something. So that was, and eventually we, got some slightly crossed wires in there, but she said, can you come on the mic and explain what's going on? Can you unmute yourself and explain? And I said, yes, here is what has happened. We're on day 8. We need you to do this now before we can go any further. And she said, right, no problem. It was 6:30 in the evening at this point. So she said, I will do that tomorrow. So I've had an email from my partner manager saying, I have done the thing which I needed to do in order for things to happen. So now we have to wait for someone to read that thing that she just filled in and maybe figure out what's going on, maybe possibly. In the meantime, the video where I gave you all of the information up to the point where I needed my partner manager but hadn't been able to get at her yet, that which I put up yesterday afternoon has it's probably going to hit 100,000 views by the end of the day. That's not normal for my videos. It's far above normal, shall we say. So that's happening anyway. But the short version is the appeal has been filed by a real human person who I have spoken to, and now we need to wait until we can hear back from, hopefully, another real human person. In the meantime, the person on the Creator Support team, who is real human person number 1, is also waiting for whatever that brings us. So yeah, I don't think we're really in time for a Christmas miracle, because we've basically only got 2 days before everybody goes away for Christmas, but you never know. We might get a post-Christmas miracle, and those are also fine. So the form, my form still remains unusable, but we have, my partner manager has done the thing which is what you do when you can't take it any further with the form. So, bless YouTube's digital heart for helping you spread the message. I know, it's... If you go into my analytics, it says, wow, views are 2.8 times higher than normal on this video. Your viewers really like it. I'm like... I mean, possibly like is not quite the right word we're looking for here. I hope it was an entertaining video. Are enraged by it, and so sharing it with their friends might be more to the point, but who knows. Videos of people complaining about YouTube get a lot of engagement and are therefore promoted by YouTube's own algorithm. Yeah, that is true. We need to double and triple watch new videos in the monetized future. We're also angered by YouTube. We're sharing it on all the Discord servers. Yeah, my analytics said to me, oh, by the way, 6% of your views came from Reddit. Or so, I'm like, really? Okay, there you go. But yes. In the meantime, everything, you know, I started up that coffee that should be pronounced Ko-Fi account, and I have my Patreon, and the coffee donations alone in the last 3 days cover what I would have made in AdSense this month. So that's been amazing. Like, you know, I'm so grateful to everybody who chipped in like $5 or $10, and some of you, I don't want to say some of you have more money than sense, because you did give the money to me and I really appreciate that, but some of you give significantly higher donations than that, and I'm very grateful and slightly concerned, but, you know, I appreciate it very much. Yeah, so we don't have to worry about that. If you're on Patreon, by the way, I just put up a slightly updated copy of my book. Two different ones, actually. The sort of regular one that's available everywhere. I have updated Kindle. I haven't yet updated Ingram Spark, but you know, that's not really the point. But also, if you need one that's all in one font, so that you can change that font to something that is accessible for you, there is also like the accessible version, as it were. So if you're signed up to the Patreon, you should go get those. Why not? That door just opened itself. It's very windy here. I thought it was the cat, but apparently not. Very grateful and slightly concerned sounds like a good mug quote. Oh dear. Trying to get blood from a stone is a pain. It's absolutely true. Anyway, hold on. Cold season. Anyway, yes. So all is grand. We are making progress on the Google front. One of my people who I've never, like, one of my essentially Google strangers, just people I've never met before who work at Google, but they've watched my videos and they quite like them. They have been providing a lot of help. It has been great. One of them said to me yesterday, well, if you're ever thinking of a career change, you know, maybe you could try dentistry, because you certainly have a lot of practice at pulling teeth now. Which, yeah, there's a little bit of that. But it's all fine. Spooky door, get the salt. Yep. I can see half of Google being into the mystery sword drama. It's true. And it makes me, you know, it makes you wonder, what if you're a channel that doesn't appeal to nerds, right? Because, let's be real, we're all kind of nerdy here, and so it's more likely that I'm gonna have at least somebody here who's a Google employee who can, you know, point me in the right direction. But what if you're not? What if you're a channel that does something that's, like, really non-nerdy? Hang on, I'm just gonna fix that so I can lean. Like, what if you don't have the kind of channel that is attractive to people who work at Google and are kind of nerdy? You know, you're just kind of stuck. I mean, most of my progress has been achieved through the YouTube creator support system, even though that is one email every 24 hours because we're in completely different time zones. We're on literal opposite sides of the world. But not all of it. Not all of it. Like have been people, doing some gentle nudging, which has been extremely helpful in getting things done more quickly for me. And like that should surely that YouTube should have better processes than that. That shouldn't need to happen. I am very grateful for the help, but surely it would be better if YouTube could maybe design some better processes. That would be nice. Nerds. Aside from the demonetization, how are you doing? I'm doing pretty well, honestly. I'm doing grand. Like I'm not. It's going to work itself out eventually, in one way or another, and like until that happens, hey. A company built on systems should have better systems, I think, because I don't know. So I've only just sort of met some Google employees, but I do also know of several former Google employees, and they are of the opinion that YouTube has been, when YouTube did its layoffs, one of the things that was hardest hit was creator support. Because, that doesn't directly make you revenue, because creators being able to, monetize or have their videos sort of work properly isn't the kind of directly large amount of money making thing, that you would want to focus on, especially because it probably costs them more money in man hours than it does earn the money in AdSense. Because if you're not monetized because you haven't got sufficient watch hours to join the partner program, YouTube can run ads on your videos. But if you have been monetized and then they demonetize you, which is what they've done to me, they're not running ads on my videos. They're not running ads on this live stream, as far as I know. I haven't seen any. So now is a really good time, if you're fed up with YouTube ads, to just like binge watch a lot of my videos particularly, because they won't have ads on them. But yeah, essentially, every time I live stream or put up a video, YouTube are losing money because they have to host it. I mean, not very much money, but they have to host it, but they're not getting any benefit. You're eventually going to have made more money due to this drama when everything has worked itself out. Yeah, it's entirely possible, because so there's a nonfiction writer whose books I quite like. His name is Cal Newport, and one of the things he says in one of his sort of career-related books is, if you are not sure whether you should go into a career or not, you can use, he calls it money as a neutral indicator of value, because he's like, everyone will tell you that your business idea is amazing and wonderful, and isn't that so great? I would pay for that. But that's not the same as people being actually willing to put their hands in their pockets for you. And if people are willing to pay, then that is a good indicator that this is, viable financially. And it has been very humbling to see how many people are willing to go, screw YouTube, and I'm going to give you some money to make up for your sort of demonetization. It's like, thanks. Thank you. That seemed kind of inadequate, but thanks. I really appreciate it. Yeah, anyway, 633 people. This is the difference between streaming at 10 a.m. and streaming at 12 p.m. There you go. But yeah, just doing the stream. Decided to start at the start, so I'm catching up at 1.25 speed. It's as if Jill has had too much coffee. Yeah, I think getting other YouTubers to start talking about it will help. I was on a Facebook group this morning, and I think that someone I know has just had the exact same thing to happen to them. So I said, listen, if they tell you to do this and then this happens, get back in touch with me, because I can tell you, this is a known issue now. Or at least I think so. But hopefully their partner manager will be on the ball. and they will be able to escalate it, pretty quickly. I just got up from 12 minutes in the past. You'd think a company that makes billions in profit could have people in multiple time zones for creator support. I mean, I think they do, but I think the thing is, the sort of limitation is that you really do, I think, get a real human being when you get on an email chain with creator support. You get the creator support team and you get access to that person, and so nobody else will send you emails. Which means that you're kind of stuck, unless you can ask for a transfer to someone who's in a different time zone, but that probably just bumps you to the back of the queue again. You really do get an actual person, but they are where they are in the world. This is a great lesson in authoritarianism. They get to make up any rules they like, anytime they like, without telling you what they are, and if you complain, you will be punished. Yeah. It do be like that sometimes. If I drink coffee, I would turn into a speedster like the Flash. Have you considered involving a lawyer? And not at this stage. I think that would be it would be overkill at this stage, to involve a lawyer. Especially because it's all it will take is a phone call, yes, but also money. And it's been a week, so the amount of money lost is probably not as much as retaining a lawyer would be. I am pretty sure there's something broken in the system. But hopefully we can get it fixed at least relatively quickly. And then if it happens to somebody else who I know, I can be like, I know what your problem is, or at least I sort of know what your problem is, and here are the things that you should say in order to, do the things. It's 5 a.m. for me. Why am I awake? I mean, to be fair, 5 a.m. is quite early, but I suppose maybe you're just a really motivated person, like that guy who gets up at is there a person who gets up at 5 a.m. to work out every day, or 4 a.m. or something like that, and then maybe, I don't know, you're alive, alert, awake, and enthusiastic. That's what it is. Yep. YouTube is run by Wheatley from Portal 2. Do you know? That's... Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. Yeah. In the meantime, good news, the hardback is currently being typeset, so sometime early next year, I hope. Still have to do the cover. That's the whole thing. But it is in progress, so hopefully I'll be able to sell you a hardback version of Just Stab Me Now relatively soon. No audiobook news as yet, but you'll know when I know. Yes, that is the right way around. My cat is my alarm clock. YouTube being like, I'm mad at you, but I won't tell you why. Sometimes sounds like something my 5-year-old daughter would say. Yeah, there's a bit of that. But, we press on and hope for the best. Anyway, I'll put this on. There's fine. Good-ish news. My partner manager, who, having talked to creator support, which contains a real person, they escalated to my partner manager, who is also a real person, to get her to submit an appeal. And she has submitted that appeal as of this morning. And so now we're just waiting for something to happen with that. It might be worth money considering. Not budging until... Okay. Well, if they continue not to budge, and there's, we've had no movement by the new year, then I may, have to think about alternate routes for recourse. But at the moment it's just annoying. It's not stressful or it's not financial anxiety inducing, because my audience are amazing and have stepped up magnificently. But it is annoying. I dislike when things go wrong and no one can tell you why and no one has the authority to fix it. It's annoying. It's only the public shaming that gets them to act. It is absolutely true. But people have been shaming them on Twix and on Facebook and possibly on, apparently on Blue Sky as well. But I've definitely seen Twix and Facebook. So it's my birthday. So my birthday wish. I hope this gets sorted for you. Thank you. I appreciate it. 5 a.m. in Arizona. Construction work has early hours, so I checked in on the saga. Hello, fellow Bearup. There are many more Bearups in the US than there are in the UK. Incidentally, apropos of nothing. There is even another Jill Bearup, and sometimes I worry about her because every so often I go looking for myself on the internet, as it were. As in, I go looking for my personal information on the internet. Do people know where I live? Because that would be bad. And by and large, I do not find myself. What I do find, however, is the other Jill Bearup, who is, I believe, in her 60s or maybe early 70s at this point. I know every address she's lived at for the last 10 years and every phone number she's ever had. I'm like, I'm glad I don't live in America because... wow, data protection, it's just, is it not a thing there? Or is it just that it's really hard to get off the electoral register? I don't know. But, sometimes I am concerned about her because people do be Egypts and, might mistake a 70-year-old woman who lives in, on the East Coast, I think, for me, a 38-year-old woman who lives in England. But, people are not good at reading. But, so far, everything seems to be fine. We're not even related. That's the worst part. What are we doing? We're publicly shaming Google. Jill Bearup with Jill Bearup, the crossover we all thought we needed. Yeah, so I went on Twitch the other day because someone mentioned Twitch. I think it's just a live streaming platform rather than a putting videos on places platform, which is not exactly what I'm looking for, but I do enjoy the live streaming. I have tremendous fun when I'm talking to you guys. But there's a Jill Bearup there already who hasn't posted anything or anything like that. But I don't think it's the sort of 68-year-old Jill Bearup. I think it must be a different Jill Bearup, and it's almost definitely not me, because I feel like I would have remembered signing up to Twitch previously. Maybe. Maybe. YouTube is the world champion of Calvin Ball. Yes. Greeting from Australia, my first Jill Bearup live. Wishing the best on the demonetization struggles. Thank you. It's pretty late for you, but, I appreciate that you're here. No, it's not a thing. Public records are public. Yeah. I wish they didn't leave their decisions to chat book. Mildly toxic 7-year-old on stream. Yes, I have told you the side of the US that she lives on. But hey, there are apparently other Jill Bearups. Maybe there might be another one on Facebook, but I think she is younger, I think, and so has better data protection awareness, because that was, there is someone else who shares my name who lives in America, and I was like, that's good, better data protection from you. So that's nice. I could be a Bearup with a few government forms. I could see it. I mean, you know what? Anyone can be a Bearup if they really try. Maybe if all the Jill Bearups come together, they can defeat YouTube. I remember a US friend didn't have issues to pay a fee to get the complete data set of someone that caused issues in our Facebook group. That's so wild for me. You pay a fee and get all the information. That is pretty wild. What's the latest? My partner manager has been contacted, and she has told me that this morning she submitted an appeal to the higher up people saying, listen, normal creator support channels are not working because of these issues. Please do something. So hopefully that will bring us some progress sometime over the Christmas period, maybe. Or maybe in January. Who knows? But progress has been made. A wild partner manager appears. She uses appeal form. Will it be super effective? We don't know yet, but, it has at least been used. Twitch is Amazon's bought up Google thing. There can only be two, like Sith Lords. Oh no, Jill into the Bearup verse. Yep. I'm making a BG3 character ideas. So I saw yesterday that basically the most common Baldur's Gate 3 character is like a manly warrior with a longsword, and I was like, I mean, yeah, that does track. That does kind of make sense. If everybody's in there for their power fantasy, and probably more men play Baldur's Gate 3 than women do, like, that sort of makes sense. Though I have a friend who is male who said, oh, well, I tend to choose the female characters to play. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Why is that? And he said, well, I have to stare at their back a lot. And I'd rather stare at the back of an attractive woman than the back of what could be an attractive man, but I'm heterosexual and so don't really care, for like 100 hours. So, I was like, I mean, that does make sense. That does make sense. A work colleague's passport number was swapped with his wife's on entry to the USA. It caused him to spend 12 hours in a room upon exit. We can see what happened, but we can't fix it. Ouch. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I tried to sign up for Facebook, but apparently I look like I was an AI construct. There's another person at my work with my exact name. It's not great. I can imagine. Yeah. When I got into my most recent job before I became a full-time YouTuber, I said, could you not use that name? Because they had set me up as Jill Bearup, and I was like, could we set me up as Jill not Bearup? And they were like, why? And I was like, because people on the internet be crazy, and I don't want them Googling me and finding out where I work. In case, most likely they wouldn't do anything other than call you and shout at you, but I don't want the risk of someone turning up at my place of work. And they were like, yeah, no problem. Let us call the IT guy, and we will fix that up for you. I'm Jill Bearup, you're Jill Bearup, we are all Jill Bearup. What does his name mean? I believe it might be of Dutch origin, but no one... not quite sure. When I play D&D, I just like throwing fireballs at stuff. They never render male characters' arses in the same level of detail as the female characters. Almost certainly true. Oh dear. Don't underestimate the number of women playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'm sure there are lots of women playing Baldur's Gate 3, but that, less than 50% is still a minority. Just not a small minority. You're just the big minority. It's a bit like, on this channel, it depends on the video, but overall, the weird thumbs ups are appearing again. I do too much hand gesturing, apparently. On this channel, it is more likely that you are male than female, but only by a very small amount. It's like 56, 44. Public maths. Have you ever watched, public maths is a phrase I got from Caleb Hammer, because he never makes anybody add things up in their heads on his show, because he's like, public maths is bad. And normally I don't mind maths in public or private, but live streaming is a bad time to try and do maths, because you're already thinking about too many different things. And so you might say, 4 times 4 equals 27 or something silly like that. That was the reasoning I used when I started playing video games ages ago. Now I go 50-50 for variety. I'm more... These are the Jill Bearups, I know. I watch Caleb Hammer too. To be fair, I tend to binge watch 3 or 4 episodes and then just not watch for a while, because they do all get, after a few, they're very motivating to make sure that you have got all your finances in order and you have cancelled all of your subscriptions that you meant to cancel, or that you've set up your savings account or whatever. But I find that after a while they get repetitive, and not repetitive in what the people say, but just in the repetitive in the sense that you can see, you can always see where it's going, and it's, yeah. Also, nobody understands how compound interest works, and as a a relatively mathsy person, that's quite frustrating. But I also understand that some people don't have an instinctive grasp of numbers, and that's that's perfectly fine. But also, if people don't have instinctive grasp of numbers and percentages and statistics, then that's fine. But probably credit cards are not good, like just not a good thing if you don't understand how bad interest is, especially when it runs to like the 25%. And then, sorry, we're still on Caleb Hammer. And then his voice gets all squeaky and he starts going, death interest. Repetitive, yes. Taquitos, yes. Taquitos is a running joke on Caleb Hammer's show, which basically means frivolous spending on low value food items. I think presumably the first person was spending it on actual taquitos, but who knows. If credit cards were a good thing for the customer overall, they wouldn't be so pushy about making you get them. Yeah, it do be like that. When I opened a credit card for the first time when I was about 20, I said, I can just never spend any money on this and you won't close it, right? And they said, yes. And I said, that sounds great. I still have that card. Do I know where it is? It's in the house. And every 4 years or so, they send me a new one. But I don't like having to calculate ahead like that. So mostly I just don't bother with that. Credit cards aren't a good thing. If you understand compound interest, you just know the danger. Yeah. Are you classified as human? Negative. I am a meat popsicle. Yeah. Hey, am I right in saying you're in Motso's creator community? Yes, indeed. I'm not sure if she's in charge of all of the UK people. Bless her if she is. No wonder she's so snowed under in her inbox, because that's probably a lot of people. But yes, I went to the event last night, which was all about a series of festive shorts that people were putting up, and there was a leaderboard and things, and I was like, I have clearly not been getting these emails because I don't really participate in challenges in the first place, but also I have no idea what anyone is talking about. I heard your story yesterday in the meeting. I could not follow up. Yeah. So she has done the thing for me, which is escalate the situation to whoever is the next person up the chain. So we're just gonna have to wait a few days and see what that person does. We'll find out. Money is just maths. If you can keep your emotions out of it, you can do well. Yes, I find that the human race as a whole we're not good at keeping our emotions out of things. Not that individual people can't be, but as a collective, generally, we're not good at that. I am not human. I'm a ghost piloting a meat-covered skeleton on a giant rock that is a biological spaceship crashing into nothing. Maybe we'll get a Cheesemas miracle. Did you ever get round to reading the Wild Cards series collected by George R.R. Martin? No, I've never even heard of that. I have heard of the Song of Ice and Fire ones. Haven't read them, but I've heard of them. But I've never even heard of Wild Cards. The foundation problem. Persons are smart, people are entirely predictable. Yes, I was thinking about that Men in Black quote the other day. I can't remember why, but I hope that you all know the one, and if not, I hope you will go watch Men in Black, because it's a good movie. It goes, a person is smart. People are dumb, cranky, dangerous animals. I'm not human, but I do a good job blending in. And you know it, yeah. That quote is Isaac Asimov. Okay. UK won't work. I mean, for all we know, there's Jill Bearup in Upper Kalskag, according to ChatGPT. That's a town in Alaska. There you go. I never realized how enormous Alaska was. I mean, because you see it on those maps where they sort of spread out the North and South Pole. So it's called the something projection. I don't remember, but things at the top and the bottom are bigger than they should be, and things in the middle are sort of squashed. But the coastlines are the right shape, as opposed to the Peter projection where everything is sort of elongated. So the coastlines look weird, but everything's the right size. But anyway, Alaska, when you see the maps of the United States, they have the sort of 48 in the middle, and then they just have Alaska and Hawaii sort of stuck over here. And Alaska looks kind of small, but actually it's massive. And I was surprised to know that, or to learn that the other day. Anyway, droopy Earth, the Mercator protection. Thank you. Alaska, the big one. Alaska is about half the size of the continental US by itself. Dang. That's, yeah. Greenland looks larger than Africa in those projections. Yeah, yeah. Okay, where did the cheese option in all forms originate? Okay, so it originated from a community which I used to belong to, a forum back in the days when forums were more of a thing, called the Long Hair Community, or the LHC, not the Large Hadron Collider, the Long Hair Community. And basically, the sort of Venn diagram of people who want to grow their hair long, right? It's a big circle, and in that circle there are lots of people, and they come from lots of different backgrounds. But two of the largest backgrounds, because English was the language of the forum, and America is the largest sort of English-speaking country in the world, were American kind of conservative evangelical Christians, but also surprisingly large contingent of random European Wiccans who speak English. And then also, atheists and Muslims and Hindus and anything you want. If you can participate in this English-speaking forum, off you go. So, in order to... Also, people get really heated about hair care. I don't know how to tell you this, but boy, I've had... Some of the wildest comments I've ever had on this channel were related to my hair. I kid you not. The rest of them were either about Star Wars, or I was at a video about making fun of that poor woman in the bikini in one of those Metal Gear Solid games. These are the things that get people heated, apparently. So what they did was, in this forum, whenever they had a poll, what is your hair care routine, or who are you voting for in the next election, whatever the subject was, they would always have an option that said, I don't know, but I do like cheese. Which was basically just a reminder that it's not that deep. You're here, and we're talking about hair, and it's not that deep, right? And that is where the cheese option came from, because I needed something. I had, back when YouTube did 5 poll options, I always had one that said, I don't even know you, lady. But people would click on that because they thought it was funny, not because it was actually true. So I was like, I need an option that's funnier than I don't even know you, lady, which will get people to click on it if they just want to see the results. And so the cheese option was born. And now it's become kind of a thing. And when I went to my book event in Canterbury, which was in October, one of the things... Well, I got 2 of these, but... Hold on. Can I reach that button? Yes, I can. So these are little cheese things. Little cheese things with swords. Because do you know what they are? And someone bought them for me. And do you know what they are? They're combat wedges, and that's why there are 2 of them. I also got a book about cheese. Someone also bought me some goat cheese. It was very cheesy. This is super cute. Jill's back to regular Swede, but it's like she's been tranquilized. Anything I can't understand now is my problem and can't be blamed on me living in the past. Yep. Tell us again where we can donate to you. I shall do that. Okay, so we've got two options. There we go. We've got this one, and I'm gonna pin this one because this is like the one-off donations one. And then there is also Patreon. So, however, as I was saying earlier, if you sign up to Patreon, I think even if you do the free trial, you can download the updated EPUB version of Just Stab Me Now, because that's like a, that's a thing that you get for being a patron, because, I appreciate you. And that includes what we're calling the accessible version of Just Stab Me Now, because if you get the book on Kindle and you say, I want to change this font to something that I can read more easily, Kindle will only change what it thinks of as the main font. And obviously, there are two fonts, plus text messages and things, but they're quite short, so it's not so much of a problem. But Kindle will only change like half of the text in Just Stab Me Now, because it doesn't realize that the fonts are for differentiating things, and both of them are the main font. So that's where we are. Coffee has a leaderboard where we can compete to give Jill the most money in any 90-day period. That's kind of weird. Not gonna lie, that's kind of weird. And some people have been extremely generous. To a degree that makes me go, oh my gosh, and then just kind of stare for a minute. But yes, I greatly appreciate it. If you would like to kick me some money on Ko-Fi, I'm just going to call it Ko-Fi. I'm sorry. Like, I called Patreon for about 3 years because I'd never heard anyone say it. And then I met the founder of Patreon at VidCon, and he was like, it's funny, Canadians and the British call it Patreon. I don't really know why, but it is meant to be Patreon because it's like patron. So you got the longer A. I'm like, oh. Anyway. Hello, Joel. I just saw about your issue this morning. Hearing the stupidity you've dealt with and what has been needed to get information, I'm not going to pursue being a game streamer. I mean, to be fair, it has been... It is unusual that the situation is this convoluted, but it's not unusual that working on the internet and your platform not really belonging to you throws up issues like this every now and again. I mean, I've been full-time on YouTube for almost 5 years at this point, and this is the first time this has happened. So, but this is why we diversify our revenue sources when we work on the internet, because at any point they can just turn you off and not tell you why. Hey ho. No one expects the YouTube Inquisition. Our main tools are random demonetization, ignoring your inquiries, and cheese. Wait, not cheese. The combat wedges still make me laugh. They are, like, I see them and I smile. I see them and I smile, Charlie. What you've dealt with sounds like an average contact with the VA, and no one needs that stress. What's the VA? My brain is going Veterans Association, maybe? But then I'm like, maybe, I don't know if that is correct. So I will wait. Work beckons. Have a good day. It's construction, so like I hope that nothing falls on you. I mean, I hope that nothing falls on any of you during your time in your place of employment, but it feels like in construction, something falling on you would probably be more serious than if you work in an office, in which case, like, it might be a paperclip that fell on you, you know. I want a cheese knife with a decorative dagger hilt and a cheese board that says, just stab me now. Frankly, so do I at this point, but I don't know how I would get myself one. We do, when we moved... about, I guess, 6 years ago now, we got someone bought us a cheese board and a cheese knife, and we still have both of those. In fact, the cheese board was in the Fantasy Heroine series when Rosamund throws the cheese board at the intruders. That was the cheese board that our friends bought us when we moved. So, you know, it's a very good cheese board. It's very sturdy, you know. survive being thrown into, the sofa several times. Just saying. Heard about Moonkin form, but appeal form. Right. My issue was that I was denied a gold play button for various unspecified reasons. That sounds great. I had to file an appeal form that nobody could send me due to policy, which ended up not existing. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. Did you ever get the gold play button? Inquiring minds need to know, because I'm only at 500,000. Hang on. I'm gonna be precise about this. 543,158 subscribers. So I'm only like halfway there. But should I ever get a gold play button, I would like to think that I could at least get it. Beware of the leopard situation. Yeah. I did get it escalated, but it went nowhere. Like, yeah. It is a little known fact, which vaguely related to this, that if you do manage to get sent a play button in the first place, once you have one, then you're allowed to order more. But that probably doesn't work if they say, well, you have enough subscribers for a gold play button, but we're not going to send you one. Like, wow. Thanks. You can also just order a gold play button and pay for it. I mean, only if you have an appropriate link. I'm wondering if I can still order a silver play button. I'm gonna see if there are any emails in here that. Okay. Oh, it's my previous one of my previous encounters with the creator support team, in which I said a week ago I hit 100,000 subscribers and I wanted to inquire about the status of my eligibility review. And they, forwarded my request to their internal team, and your channel has been approved. And then they give me, to do that, you have to log into a particular website, and it doesn't exist anymore, apparently. There you go. And then you have to use a specific code. So if you can't, also, like, the website no longer works. This is from 2020. Yeah, 2020. It's like, please log into this website and use this unique redemption code. So if they don't assign you a gold play button in the first place, then you can't order more of them. And probably you don't even know where to log into, because I don't need to. Did you know you can order extras? You can email this email address. Oh, okay. It might be that, one can email an email address, but that probably only works if they gave you one in the first place. So that sucks. Anyway, turns out I have had dealings with creator support before, and they did in fact help me on that occasion. So that bodes well for the future. A gold play button can't be that hard to make on a 3D printer. Maybe. It's made of actual gold. Yeah, probably not, no. Judging by what you've done to the one in the background, you could use an upgrade. Yeah, I thought, well, there are several axe throwing places within relatively easy distance of here, so I figured if I ever got a gold play button, then maybe I could admire it on my wall for a month or two, and then I could take it axe throwing with me and ask them if I could throw axes at it. I think that would make quite a good video. Somebody basically got cancelled for doing what I did to their silver play button. As in they decided to, like, trash it. And I told a friend of mine this, and he was like, and why? And I said, well, the reason that people started unsubscribing to them after they broke up their silver play button is because supposedly they were having a tantrum because it wasn't a gold play button and they didn't have enough subscribers, whereas I was doing it because I was trying to test out how resilient it was and if it would make a good shield. So it was very much on brand. My brother does poker work, drawing images into wood with a hot iron tool. He could easily do a cheese board. Okay. Pyrography. Oh, that does sound fun. It's about $700 for more. Fair enough. Wishing you the best of luck resolving it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Um, just axe it a question. uh, if you trash it but do it to raise funds for charity, you also won't be cancelled. Yeah, I think that people were just mad um, because the person in question might have been acting like a in a not nice way, you know, as opposed to let's see what happens if you do this. Ha 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 ha. Which, you know, if you've been around here for any length of time and you think, and you look at my silver play button and go, did you stab that? Like, yes, for science. And you don't think, yeah, that sounds legit, then, you know, this probably isn't the channel for you. Sounds like the silver play button was on brand for the other guy, just didn't work out how he wanted. I suppose. Spoiled child, yeah. I mean, sometimes people do not appreciate that energy. It doesn't even matter if you're right or if you would technically be justified. Nobody appreciates it when you act like you're entitled to something. Which, you know, I am... One tries to keep in mind when emailing for the 12th time in a week some poor sod on the other side of the world who's probably not getting paid enough to deal with this nonsense, you know? What's the silver button made of? Aluminium. I think, yes. So there's like a thin aluminium sheet, which is the sort of outside part. I think the inside part might also be aluminium, but a bit more shiny. But it's on it's on like a backing, which has velvet on it. Like it's reasonably sturdy, but the reason it doesn't hang straight anymore is because, there are 2 holes in the back, and you're supposed to like put 2 nails in the wall. And what I did instead was I threaded a piece of fishing wire between the 2, and then used that as a hook. So I only had to use 1 nail or screw to hang it from. But they got a bit dented when I was hitting it with the sword or possibly stabbing it with the knife, and that didn't really, you know. So now it's a little bit wonky all the time, but that's okay. I try and be nice to customer support people. 90% of the time, they're not even employed by the company I have an issue with. I mean, so true. If I want to see a temper tantrum on just full display, I have a younger niece and nephew. Yeah. I mean, I stabbed it I hit it with a blunt sword. You know, the knife was sharp because it was the one that I used for, the one that I made with the blacksmith when I lived in Kent. But, hey ho. It's a little bit wonky all the time. Me too, play button, me too. Yeah. For your 1 million subscriber video, can you do more blacksmithing and make the axe to throw at the play button when you get it? Oh, that might be, you never know. That might be a possibility. I don't know what, how to make a throwing axe, or if they'd let me throw one at a place like that. But, you know, it's always possible. Yeah, so if there's a video you're doing sword science on the silver play button, I believe it is a YouTube short. Let me see. It's called, hang on, I will get you the link. Go, shoot. It's called I Stabbed My Silver Play Button for Science. A few days ago, they only want to try a quarter. Is that like a website or a person? Can I hear the let me turn that off. By which I mean my headphones are sitting over there, but I can hear it. Anyway, let me get back to you guys. There we go. Can't hear you over the music. Oh, that's weird. That's super weird. So when that window opened, could you hear it? That's really strange. I don't think that should be happening, OBS. What's up with that? Huh. Sorry about that. I thought that was me. Okay, yes, okay. That is, well, that's useful to know. If I ever want to do that thing where you react to videos on live streams, that seems a little bit beyond my current technical capabilities, but, sorry about that. What can you hear? Everything. Yeah. My bad. So anyway, if you scroll back up a bit, that there is the link to the short, but we will not play any more videos in the background. I think they would be quite distracting anyway, especially for me. So what can you do? Right. Let's see. We can hear music if you're opening tabs from the same source, aka screen. Okay. Useful to know. Useful to know. Even if Raven Forge didn't do a sponsorship, I suspect you'd like cheese axes. They also do a pizza cutting axe. I mean, that sounds pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, that does sound quite fun. Don't be sorry, it was a blast from the past. Fair enough. Cheese, okay. Raven Forge cheese axe. Okay, those are cute. Those are cute. Google has also given me some sponsored results, including the Viking pizza cutter axe from Etsy, which is also quite cute, but much more deadly looking, I'm going to be honest. Probably just because it's significantly bigger. You think it'll be resolved after the holidays or most likely in the new year? I'm thinking if everybody gets their skates on, it might be resolved in that gap between Christmas and New Year, but most likely it's going to be January at this point because everyone's about to go on holiday and nobody wants to crawl through the systems trying to figure out what the bug is before then, Have you seen Nicole Colleen? She's Canadian and restores axes and does a lot of cool chopping videos. No, I have not. Christmas stream with Jill Bearup will we have? No, I have people coming, we have family coming over for Christmas. So around Christmas time, you will probably not see me. But, and then we're going away to visit people. And I just remembered that I needed to send someone a text about that. And I haven't. So I'm going to open my messages app and I'm going to put a draft in there. So that I don't forget to do that, because that would be a bit embarrassing, because a week or 2 weeks or whenever it is that we're going, like, hey, I said I would get in touch with you when we'd booked everything and got the dates, and then I didn't. So I got the pizza cutter axe, and if I ever drop it, I'm losing my foot. Yeah. Dad used to have a drawer full of axes in the closet. He'd pick one at random in the morning, and if he couldn't shave with it, it was time to sharpen it. People are wonderful. People are great. So, yes, I have not seen... It's possible that I have seen the lady whose name is Nicole something, who does chopping of things, because I have seen a lady who chops things on TikTok, I believe, but not as many of her videos as I would remember her name. Of course, that is a bit of a problem on TikTok. On YouTube, if you spend a live stream with a person, then you've spent like a couple of hours with them, so you might, it's more likely you'll remember their name. But was it a VidCon where they had, signing events and meetups for TikTok creators specifically, and they had millions of followers, and there was nobody there because most of their followers just didn't come to VidCon? Yeah. Also, any movement, is TikTok getting banned in the US? Is that a thing that's happening? Or are they going to have... Do we think that there's going to be some kind of last-second reprieve? I ask not because I like TikTok. I have deleted it off my phone again because it gives me terrible brain fog. So I literally download it, schedule a bunch of videos, and then hide it in my... so I don't click on it, so I forget that it's there until all of the scheduled videos have gone up, and then I delete it again, because otherwise I can't watch it. It gives me such brain fog. I feel like I drop 15 IQ points every time I'm on there, and that effect lasts all day. Creators that's not at the center on TikTok. Yes, yeah. I'm not on TikTok, so I can hardly remember. I have. Okay, let's see. I have got. I'm surprised it has not been copyright claim to the ground. It's getting banned, a potential for court blockage, but not likely. If it's challenged, it would have to go up to the US Supreme Court. Okay. Well, you know, I feel like that they're busy people, although I don't know. Like, how many things go to the Supreme Court in a year? I was wondering this. I am wondering. Clearly, the loquaciousness is not with us today. We're not very articulate. But how many cases, does anybody know? Because I would like to know. How many cases, roughly, does the Supreme Court hear in a year? Because I know that we also have a Supreme Court here in the UK, but I have no idea how many cases they hear in a year. Super effective. The news from my wild partner is that she has submitted a form on my behalf, and she was the only person who could do this. And so the fact that she has done it is an excellent step forward, and maybe something will happen at some point in the future. We remain demonetized, and we remain in the dark as to why. I got TikTok once to see a few friends' TikToks, but they kept showing me random other folks, so I kept missing my friends, so I deleted it again, and I just clicked the links. Jin mentions TikTok and the brain fog sets in, it's getting worse. Yeah, Google says 100 to 150 cases a year. Okay, that's like several per week. You know, it's like 2 or 3 a week. Busy people. Google says about 80 cases. Okay. Will they compensate you for the lost revenue? I doubt it very much. I do not understand. Google organizational inertia at work. I mean, it's true. They did make a lot of layoffs relatively recently, like within the last year, from YouTube specifically. I think from other places as well, but from YouTube specifically, and it has not necessarily been going great. Well, also, I'm pretty sure they've just it is my hypothesis that one of their new AI content moderation systems has come online, and that it is throwing out false positives like, a child with confetti at a wedding. And unfortunately, they can't just turn all of the false positives off, because then you will also miss the real positive. And so everybody who's been falsely demonetized just has to fight individually until they fix whatever the problem is. US Supreme Court, about 70 cases a year. Okay, so they're more like 1 a week. It's AI to the point of incompetence. It's not the dystopian future we wanted, but it's the one we got. I'm uncertain how many of the 100-ish cases end up being, nah, we're not hearing this case, lower court's ruling stands. I shall fight. Yeah, I agree with this hypothesis. No, it's Google's choice that they made the system incapable of hinting at reasons. I mean, that's true. Although I feel like they are doing it in December is the stupidest possible time to do it, because they are shooting themselves in the foot. Because, like I said earlier, if you demonetize a creator because you turn off their AdSense, it just means you're not running ads on their channel. So, there's a dude on Twitch, and he was not a Twitch partner for a really long time, and so somebody did maths on it and was like, in a year you streamed an average of 40 hours a week, and if everybody watched you in 1080p, then you cost Twitch/Amazon like $3 million, because you haven't been running ads on the content, so they're not making money from it, but they're actively using money to have you on the platform, and so you've cost them like $3 million or something like that. Asmongold. Yeah, there we go. Uh, Still catching up. You'd think there are people in multiple time zones doing creator support, but post layoffs, I'm not sure. Google likes contractors in particular areas due to cost. Yes, somebody said, I think that my creator support person is in Australia because of the time difference, and somebody else said they might be in the Philippines because they have pretty like that they have relatively lower wages. A lot of people there speak English, and they're in the same kind of time zone as Western Australia. And I went, oh, could be. But definitely that side of the world, unless they're insomniacs. Definitely they're on that kind of side of the world. I'm worried about how sustainable YouTube is with such a crazy amount of video. It's true. Like 80. I saw a statistic recently which said that. Hang on, I'm going to get some more water. That 80% of videos on YouTube have fewer than 1,000 views. So if you have a video on YouTube and it has 1,000 views or more, that is a top 20% video on the platform. It's like there is a lot of stuff that you just don't see, because they tested it and went, just wait until AI identifies as human and competes with human beings. We need a YouTube alternative. Calling large language models AI is like calling the 1980s IBM PC the 2021 Mac Pro. Yeah, they're smart software, but intelligence is a gross exaggeration at best. I mean, that's true. I don't think, like, I at least have been dealing with, humans. I have also been dealing with words. Probably also at some points been dealing with large language model AIs, but I have at least for the last week been dealing with humans, which is why I only get one email a day, which, hey, what can you do? We even contract to the Philippines. PDT is the same as WA as in Western Australia. Okay. Most tech over here is probably in New South Wales. Interesting. Could just be an Antipodean lifestyle. It's maybe some dude and he actually lives in Barnsley, or like Nantwich, or Essex, but he likes to stay up late and sleep through the day, and that's why he only emails me after 9:30 at night. It could be your neighbor. I mean, it could be. Barnsley. Barnsley is it's just a very some words are quite satisfying to say. Some phrases are also quite satisfying to say. Like, in the year of our Lord 2024, it just rolls off the tongue quite nicely. And also it makes it sound more portentous when you really just mean now. Sometimes you just want to sound a little bit portentous or pretentious. Either is fine. Possibly both at once. They live in midsummer, and during the day they're too busy avoiding all the murderers. Yeah. Did I mention I got an ad on your Zorro video yesterday? That is different. The Mask of Zorro video has revenue sharing because they copyright claimed it because of the clips. So that's probably why that would explain a few things. But there are about 8 of my videos on which you may still get adverts, and the Mask of Zorro is one of them. So yes, that it is not unusual that is happening because the other person hasn't been, the company who owns the copyright of the Mask of Zorro haven't been demonetized, so they still get their money. It's your alter ego, that's why you can't be online at the same time. Yeah, there's an October Day book in which they have the kind of fae that's one person in the daylight and a completely different person at night. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's like nighttime Jill Bearup. Like Gremlins, you can't feed me after midnight. And when I say midnight, I probably mean like 9 p.m., honestly. Great way to encourage people to make videos about your movies. Yeah. Is this Adpocalypse 3.0? Not yet. But I do know that at least one other person in my circle of acquaintance has been caught by a bug that seems very similar to what is happening to me right now. So, yeah, possibly. We'll see. The British aren't pretentious. They're cultured. We've never seen Jill and Batman in the same place. I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh, how did the Unicorn Sanctuary D&D trip go? Right. So for those of you who were not at the previous one of the previous live streams, I said that on Monday night I was going to be going to D&D. I play on Discord with my party, but I was like, I'm going to be playing D&D on Monday night, and we're going to a unicorn sanctuary. And for context, not that context will help because it's D&D, so the amount of context required to make it actually make sense would be far too high. But my character, in order to get things to help prevent the world ending, agreed to enter into an arranged marriage with some kind of like fae person, like a spider fae, who is the son of a very well-known romance novelist whose books the character kind of obsessively reads on the down low. Anyway, they decided to go like out to see the unicorn sanctuary because the place that they are staying is raining. There's a lot of storms and stuff going on, and because everyone has been making fun of them, particularly Amelia, my character, she said, "Look, I know you can get us to jump the queue at the unicorn sanctuary, but don't let the rest of the party in. They can just queue like peons." And so my character had a fantastic time at the unicorn sanctuary. There were rainbows and baby unicorns and lots and lots of nice things, and she had a wonderful time. And then a couple of storm giants turned up, and then things went a bit pear-shaped, but you know. Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up. Exactly. Makes perfect sense. No notes. Did you pick up anything interesting? Does unicorn hair make great hair? You know what? I'm not actually sure. I should ask. Hi there, I don't even know what your channel is about. Greetings from Germany. Yeah, welcome. So, what is the channel about? Right, so there are three things that we do here. We do movie fight reviews, mostly sword fights. We do armor reviews from games and movies and TV shows. Mostly I make fun of them gently. And I also did a series of sketches where a romance novelist tries to write a fantasy romance novel and her character argues with her about how the plot should go. And then I turned that into a book, and now you can buy the book, which is great. But yes, those are the three general brands of things that we do around here, and for the last week we have mostly been doing, I've been demonetized on YouTube, so I'm just going to come on here and talk about it, because why not? You guys are fun. I like you. Like, it's creepy seeing a live stream without access to super chats. Yeah, it's unusual, but on the other hand, on the plus side, no ads. So, you know, I watch a lot of YouTube, and even I'm like, I feel like we're going a little bit overboard on the ads, guys. A little bit overboard. Unifol. Are you into Danny Kaye's Court Jester? Yeah, for my 500,000 subscriber milestone episode, I did a review of the fight between Danny Kaye's character and Basil Rathbone's character, which is called Get It, Got It Good, I believe. On the subject of mythical beasts, did you realize that centaurs have 2 rib cages? I mean, I've never thought about that before, but it's absolutely true. I mean, I knew they had 2 stomachs because Narnia told me that centaurs take a really long time to have their breakfast because first you have to feed the man's stomach and then you have to feed the horse stomach, you know? I have premium water ads. How can this be demonetized? If we knew, honestly, if we knew, it would be so much easier, but there is some kind of glitch in the system which won't tell me what the problem is, but it also won't tell the people who are on the creator support team what the problem is. If they knew, then we could fix it, but they don't know, so we can't fix it, which is why we've been having to escalate it as like a bug. Yeah. Is it you that went overboard from the vessel AdSense? Yeah. 2 sets of lungs makes sense. Yeah, that's a good point. Women have a separate stomach for dessert. Sort of true. It's actually a taste bud thing. Apparently, because your taste buds get kind of fatigued, and so while your stomach may be full, your taste buds are like, yeah, we could have a different kind of, taste experience. That'd be fine. I mean, you might feel uncomfortable afterwards, but we can deal with that, because especially if it's something sweet, your Paleolithic brain, I guess, is like, well, we might not get it again, so you better have some now. It was Unicorn Sanctuary idea thought of on the hoof, or is it a stable part of the main campaign? That was a truly terrible series of puns, and the answer to that is I have no idea. My DM works in mysterious ways, but I like him and all the rest of my party very much. They are great people. Um, when we were playing, it got so ridiculous on Monday night that I was like, I am smiling and trying not to laugh so much that my cheeks hurt. um, highly recommend. Um, oh dear, I wouldn't admit this normally. People in Austria, the one with fewer kangaroos, always say they have a dessert stomach. Nachspeisenmagen. Nachspeisenmagen? She said, attempting to. I mean, I don't know if that's German or. Well, see, and now I feel stupid because I'm like, is Austrian a language, or do you guys just speak like German? Can't say words. The languages of Austria include German, the official language and lingua franca, Austro-Bavarian, the main dialect outside of Vorarlberg. Okay, so that makes me feel less stupid because I was like, I don't think there's a language called Austrian, right? But Austro-Bavarian is a dialect. Yay. And you guys do speak German, so that was the right language to attempt it in. Fewer kangaroos, great joke about Austria. Do you know the 12 tasks of Asterix? People keep sending. You just need to fill out Form A28. Form A28. We have many dialects here in Austria. Good to know. There's an actual site called the Unicorn Sanctuary. Austrians say they speak Austrian, the rest of the world says German. Don't tell the Austrians that they're Bavarian. Okay. I once had a housemate who was from Iran, and the reason I say from Iran and not Iranian is when I said, oh, you're Iranian, he was like, no, I am Persian. And I was like, I don't. Okay, let's go with that. But also Persian is a nicer word than Iranian, so I wasn't gonna argue with that anyway. Like, Persian, it's just a nicer word, right? Like, it's just sort of smoother to say. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about how words feel to say so much today, but that appears to be our sort of random recurring motif. They wouldn't let Arnold do the German dub for the Terminator. His accent was deemed too provincial for mainstream German audiences. Also, Amsterdam is in the Netherlands. Don't speak German there. Mistake I made. It's Persian. It's fancy and cat-like. Yeah, see, now I am just thinking of the Pokemon, right? But, there's probably a reason they called it that. A lot of people from Iran prefer to say they are Persian. Fair enough. I hear, live from Virginia. I'm listening as I work. Persian, yes. Iranian, made of rain. Is it a sanctuary for unicorns, or is it a sanctuary run by unicorns? It is a sanctuary for unicorns, because apparently they used to be, kept as pets in people's houses on this set of islands until, relatively recently when they passed legislation, and now they are trying to rehabilitate the unicorns with like art therapy, and there are at least 2 theater kid unicorns who do drama performances. Thankfully, Amelia has speak with animals, and so can sort of could understand what was going on, which was quite fun. Nobody else could. It was a bit of a time. I find someone using my footage and never gave me credit for my footage. That's why I don't do YouTube. Yeah. Is this how, when referring to the language, you should say Chinese, but if you're referring to a dialect, you should say Mandarin or Cantonese? Is that how, like, is that like the rule? That is, I mean, I don't know if that's actually useful for me to know, but now it is a thing I know. And it might be useful at some point in the future. And I enjoy collecting possibly useless facts. So, you know, thank you. I wish you luck on finding a. Oh yes, yeah. That is the important thing with D&D, is finding a group of people that are that you like and want to hang out with for several hours at a stretch. Also, it is really important to have a DM who knows. Like, a good DM is worth their weight in sweetie mice, as my dad would say. Like, you because they need to know when to give you your heads and just let you run on and yep, here are the consequences, and when to be like, or my DM is very good at this. It's a. I'm not saying that the group are deliberately stupid, but we do a lot of things which seem quite stupid, and my character is probably the most sensible one, and that's a bit worrying because she does unwise things a fair amount of the time. Have a great day, Ilsa. Uh, including getting herself, stuck in random arranged marriages in order to help save the world. To be fair, she did get some cool stuff which did help save the world. But on the other hand, was it worth the hassle? And because my DM is actually pure evil, he has now introduced a third character who is an old friend of Amelia's new spider fae fiance, who is like a little dragonfly fae person, who has been a little bit passive aggressive upon their first meeting. So I'm like, really? And he was like, well, it's not a contrived arranged marriage subplot without a love triangle. So yeah, like, okay. A good DM makes or breaks the experience. Yeah, it's true. My group's DM is very good at that. We did a lot of funny things to his poor prepared story. Yeah. Where does one find a D&D group? That is a great question, because see, I don't know. Discord has groups as well as D20 online. Are there local tabletop gaming stores near you? Oh, that is a good shout, actually. If you have like a Warhammer shop or whatever they call those near you, or like a shop that sells, tabletop games specifically, would probably be better. But I don't know which one of those would be more common. I joined mine because I texted one of its members during the pandemic and said, "Hey, how you guys doing?" And she was like, "Okay. What are you up to now? Where are you living? All of that kind of thing." And then she said, "My D&D group have gone online, or rather, my church prayer group have gone online, and we're playing D&D during the pandemic. Do you want to join?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds great." And I have been there ever since. It's been 4 years, and we're still going. Nerds are very eclectic in gaming. If you find one nerd group, you can get tapped into others. Play with anyone you'd be happy to have around for dinner. That is also a fair one. D&D isn't the only system. There are some really cool other systems. I mean, that is also true. I have probably never played any of them, but I've now been playing board games more recently, because we've been hosting board games nights, and so when I want games that I will enjoy playing, and so we have Forbidden Island, which is a cooperative game where you each play a different kind of character, and you have to try and collect the 4 treasures and get off the island before it sinks. That's quite fun. I like that. And also Century Spice Road. And I think the reason I enjoy Century Spice Road is because you can play it very quickly. Like, you can play a game in under half an hour. And also, I just don't care if I win or not. I'm like, I'm doing this thing. Everybody else is sort of building their little... it's a game where you have to collect different colored cubes, and then you use those different colored cubes to buy cards and get points from those cards. I'm like, I just don't care whether I win or not. I'm just gonna buy that thing and then that thing, and other people have like strategies and stuff. But I'm just there having a good time, and rarely ever win, but always enjoy myself, which I think is the important part. Like Forbidden Island, but I think Forbidden Desert is better. Okay. Love Forbidden Island. Ah, see, we have some other Forbidden Island players. Fantastic. Have you tried Quacks of Quindenberg? Not caring if you win or not makes any game more enjoyable. Very true. Very true. We are doing Forbidden Desert and Forbidden Jungle are also fun and challenging. The team versus the board. Okay. Forbidden Desert, Forbidden... Okay. This is good to know. Probably I should not make that information available to other members of my household who really like buying board games. I'm just saying. We have quite a few now. But good idea for a birthday present, maybe. I lose all multiplayer games, it's the thing. Yeah, fair. Dice RNG. Push. Yes, buy more. No, we're not buying any more. We're not buying any more board games until we have more storage space in which to put them, because we do actually have space to store things now. Because the house that we have moved into is slightly bigger. So it's like, theoretically, there's a little bit more space to put things, and that's brilliant. But there's no storage furniture, as it were. And so things are just in, everything, all of the storage furniture that we had has been filled up with things, but there's still quite a lot of stuff that's just kind of left over, because previously it went on shelves or in built-in cupboards that do not exist in this house. You always have space for board games. How dare you? I see empty walls behind you. Plenty of space for shelves for board games. Yeah. Realize when popular people mention your videos, people will copy you and report you while stealing your footage. I don't think I understand. I think I might have missed something. Like, time to install cupboards down the trapdoor. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty damp down there, so I don't think I'd want to put anything down there that I wouldn't mind getting moldy, honestly. I was in a marriage where the couple sealed their marriage by mixing their Legos together. Jill needs bookshelves. I mean, to be fair, I have just dropped off 3 full sacks of books to the charity shop / charity bin that takes books at the dump, which was, good. The house has an amount of books which are not spread across the floor in them anymore. They're all in bookshelves. They're all in like bookcases or on shelves which are for books. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Of course, it's now going to be Christmas, and then more things will arrive in the house. But that's okay. Board game oubliette. I think there is a reason that January, they designated January National Organizing Month or whatever it is, because you get a lot of, stuff tends to come in during Christmas, and not even stuff that should remain for a very long time, but, possibly it's time to marry the house again. I don't know if any of you have read the book or seen like the Netflix series or whatever, but sometimes you just got to go through and go, why do we have this? I was gonna say something and I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, I was going to give any of you who are disappointed with the quality of YouTube videos and stuff at the minute a tip. And if you're trying to watch less YouTube, possibly as one of your New Year's resolutions, turn off your watch history. Because that means you can't scroll shorts, because it can't predict what to give you next. So it's just like, I'm sorry, you've turned off your watch history. You can't scroll shorts. So you can search for things and watch a short, but you can't just scroll them like you're on TikTok. And also, it means that there's nothing on your homepage. And so you can like go look at your subscriptions. Oh, that reminds me. That also I need to check my subscriptions list, because every so often I think to myself, we should, I should watch things from my subscriptions page rather than watching them from the homepage. And now my watch history is off, so there's nothing on my homepage. I don't know if you can hear my stomach growling, but like, what's that weird noise? It sounds like an angry cat. It's just me. But every time I go into my subscriptions, I think to myself, who is this person? At least once, there'll be somebody, and there'll be somebody in there, and I think, I've never seen this channel before in my entire life, and yet it will be there. It's one of those things, I guess. But what can you do? Okay, that's good. We're now. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I am subscribed to 9 channels. That seems absolutely adequate, because if I want to go see something else, I'll just go search for it. It's totally fine. My bookmark for YouTube takes me to my subscriptions page, not my homepage. That's far more useful. Nighttime Jill subscribing to random YouTube channels. Yes, that must be it. It's when we switch over into the other Jill. Mind the demonetize, keep cam, and demonetize on. Yes, that is YouTube autoplay at work. Maybe that's why YouTube demonetized you, because you turned off your watch history. Like, it. I'm willing to believe, basically, they could tell me something completely dumb, and I would absolutely believe it, because, I also, I have some experience with computer systems, and also with systems that link together in unexpected ways. Like, you turned off watch history, so we turned off your AdSense, is no stupider than many of the other things that I have experienced. I'm just saying. I'm sad to closer to 90 channels, 9 subscriptions. I must be subscribed to at least 80. I feel like 9 is unusual, but like, it was. I mean, I did just unsubscribe to a bunch, but that was like 4 or 5. It was previously, 15. We will not talk about how many board games I have. We do not refer to the spare bedroom as the board game annex. Like, Yep. I'm subscribed to people that don't upload videos anymore, and I've forgotten about them. Yeah, that also happens. I mean, at least as a person who basically sort of, I don't live on YouTube, but I do work on it, so I'm on here quite a lot for sort of legitimate reasons, I hope. And so I tend to notice if I'm like, who's that? Or that person hasn't uploaded in ages. Of course, sometimes you think that person hasn't uploaded in ages, and then you go to their page and find that they've been making videos for a while, but YouTube thinks that you wouldn't like them. And sometimes YouTube is correct about that, and sometimes it's just like, no, that seems like a good video. I'm going to watch that. I'm subscribed to more than 100, but a lot are stopped. Yeah, I mean, that does tend to happen with... I guess because, most people do YouTube as a hobby, and so it is basically a creative project, and so, you wax and wane in enthusiasm, right? And then if you do become a successful YouTuber, then there's a shelf life on that, which means that eventually you're going to, maybe you make fewer videos over time, or maybe you change to a different kind of thing, or maybe most of your money is no longer in the making of the YouTube videos, it is in products or services that you offer, or things like that. And then sometimes, if you get really good, you can make enough YouTube money to the point that you don't have to make YouTube videos anymore. You can just kind of quietly swan off into the sunset, which I don't think I'm quite at that level yet, but you never know. Like, live and hope. Mind you, I would probably still have opinions, and so I'd probably still be on here still be on here talking. maybe like less often than previous, but you know, every frame of painting made a video after 8 years. I'm glad I stayed subscribed. You know what? That's fair. Like, um, one of your live videos was on our videos on Reddit yesterday. I think that might have been the was it one of the lives? That's interesting because one of the because the video I made, which sort of summarized the whole situation, it has something like 4,000 views, which came from Reddit. Like, but I couldn't find any. I couldn't find the video on Reddit, and so I thought that's a bit odd. But it makes sense that it was on there briefly and then it got taken down. Like, that makes sense. I keep wanting to explore making videos as a creative outlet, but I have 4 kids ages 6 and under, so it hasn't happened. Like, you are currently kind of under it, but you know, the all phases of childhood come to an end, and after that you may be able to look up and like breathe and actually have free time again. So you know, that'll be good. In the meantime, I wish you great joy and also more sleep than. I wish you all of the sleep, for yourself and your children. I had, I have one kid who was not a great sleeper as a baby, and I'm pretty sure I have permanent memory damage because of it. Like, I used to have a much more precise grasp on things, and people are like, are people getting stupider now? Is it because of the social media? It's like, maybe, but I spent like 3 years wondering, am I going to feel this kind of slow forever? And the answer was no, which was great, but I don't really remember most of 2016. Like, some stuff happened in there, like some fairly major life events. I moved country in 2016, but mostly what I remember is being very tired. um, hey ho. I wish you all of the sleep is the most polite death threat. My wake sleep cycle is like 28 hours, so it's always messed up. Kids, I thought you were in your mid-20s. I am 38 years old. But it's hard to tell. Like, people say the camera doesn't lie, and that is just not true. Cameras can lie through their teeth for you. But particularly, like, you can't, when you see someone in person, you see them in the highest definition that you have with your eyeballs, and also you can see you can see things like their neck and their hands and their entire body, and so it's much easier to get an accurate idea of what age somebody is. Whereas in videos, all you see is like, here, I made videos up until I was like 6 months pregnant, and I looked no different. And because you only saw me from like here, nobody knew. And so, I announced, but I was like, hey, I'm going on maternity leave because I'm having a baby in a couple of months. And people were like, what? Like, yeah, but you can't see that because you only ever see my collarbones. As you get older, your brain fills up more and more stuff, and you have a harder time compressing and decompressing information. I need to defragment my brain, like we used to do on our Windows computers. I look great on camera, just not when it's facing me. Hands are a really good way of seeing a person's age. It's true. Someone once told me that I had scary Gollum hands. That was on a video, not in person. But it was, I had some particularly bad lighting. And I really did kind of look like I had scary Gollum hands in that video. The camera may add £10, but the makeup artist takes off 15 years. Yeah. I used to know a guy I figured had to be in his 20s. Was rather shocked to find out he was in his 40s. Yeah. Old photos had airbrushing, digital has Photoshop, nothing changes. It's true. And when they made those old movies and they smeared Vaseline on the lens to make you look a bit better. Though I think that there are definitely some phones which sort of try and make you look better by default. And that's always a bit weird because when they're turned up really high, it's very uncanny valley, and I don't think that I look at my own face a lot because I edit my own videos, and so I am aware of what I look like to other people, at least face on anyway. But it's really uncanny when the face tune is turned up too high because you don't look quite like yourself, you know. I had a camera, the camera before this one, which when I first got it, it had the soft skin filter turned on by default, and I felt like I looked subtly wrong. Like, it wasn't, I didn't look bad. It's supposed to make you look better, I guess, but it just looked subtly wrong, and it took me like 2 weeks to work out how to turn it off. Okay, I posted it on one Reddit, but got removed by mods. Surprised it gathered 4K, though maybe others contributed. Yeah, I suppose it might have, gone several places, right? I only know you from the armor video called Just Stab Me Now. I have a book which is has the same name, but it is not related to armor reviewing. But yes, welcome. I do a bunch of those. Has there been any consensus on review bombing YouTube? No, like that won't actually help. I mean, tweeting that I have or posting on Facebook or whatever that I have still been demonetized, like that sort of keeps up the public pressure, as it were. But there's nobody that you can email that will make the process go faster, because the person who needed to do a thing has now done the thing, and emailed to tell me so. And so we now have to wait for another person to do something, but we don't know who that is. So just a mysterious human. Hopefully a human. I turned that feature off on my Samsung. Yeah, slowly edit the videos over time so you look more and more uncanny. Yeah. Camera processing is wild. Samsung has high-res images of the moon that it substitutes into your moon photos to make it look good. That's hilarious. Like, yeah. What do you do? Time for me to roll out. Hope you get it straightened out. Thank you. Thank you for Groundskeeper Willie. He's Scottish and I am not, but you're welcome for Groundskeeper Willie anyway, because he is a fellow ginger. I just watched your video on this. It sounds really weird. It is deeply strange. It is deeply, deeply strange. But we carry on best we can. And hang on, let me go just look and see. So it's only showing like 85,000 on the front end of YouTube, but the video explaining that I've been demonetized and how it's day 8 now has 97,000 views. So, which is nearly twice as many as the second most popular video of my last 10 had at that time, which is the Robin Hood Men in Tights one, which only had 60,000 views in a similar number of hours. So it's going, the video is going places, because people like complaining about YouTube. So, and also watching people complain about YouTube, apparently. So I will take it. In the meantime, we're doing okay here. Phones also process auroras to make them ideal, and so the NOAA recommend using a phone to view the northern lights. That's really interesting. I saw once a TikTok where somebody said, yeah, I have schizophrenia and I have hallucinations sometimes. And so some people have dogs that can, they react when there are people in the room, and so if there's nobody there and the dog isn't reacting, then that you're hallucinating or something, which, that's pretty useful. But also, this person said, I look at things through my phone camera because for some reason I can't see my hallucinations through my phone camera. I was like, that's so weird, but also that's like that's so interesting. Why is that? But also that's so useful for you, because if you're, if you are someone who hallucinates, that must be very difficult to deal with. But like, if you can just whip out your iPhone and go, you're not actually there. So useful. But why does it work? I don't know. Anyway, there's a kid at my daughter's school called Scarlett who's a ginger. I'm wondering if she was named before or after she was born. That's some nominative determinism of before. Yeah. Do you think you might bring back stuff you like one day? Possibly not in quite the same form, but I have definitely been... someone said, oh, you've been demonetized. You can just make videos about whatever you want because, you know, why not? And I was like, yeah. So I might make some videos which are sort of non-fighting related. I mean, I made that one about Caroline Bingley, and that was very fun, and I did enjoy that. So, and other people seem to enjoy it too, which was nice. So, maybe I shall do that. Complaining about YouTube is the new meta. My hair isn't ginger in real life, but for some reason my phone color corrects to make it so. That is also interesting. Like, I look back at my videos. My hair has been the same color, although I'm not entirely, 100% sure if that's true, but my hair has been a very similar color since puberty. It might have changed a little bit after I had a baby, because sometimes that happens. But you can look through all of my videos, and my hair looks like a wildly different... sometimes it looks basically brown, sometimes it's really ginger, sometimes it's sort of somewhere in the middle. And I'm like, that's the same hair. It's the same color. It's just the lighting. That's weird. I still think the thumbnail is a contributing factor there. It's amazing. Yeah, so YouTube has this really, really wonderful thing called thumbnail test and compare, and it allows you to upload 3. And so I basically had 3 fairly similar ones because why not? But the one where I stare up at the day 8, with the repressed whatever that expression is, that one did the best. It judges it on what percentage of the watch time. It shows the 3 to all different groups and then goes, this one got you the most watch time overall. Like, not only did people click on the video, but they clicked and they watched more of the video. Like, oh, interesting. I'm glad you like the thumbnail though. I thought it was pretty good. It's a good day to be born in 1986. Had that a few weeks ago. In person, the sky looked a bit hazy. On the phone, the whole sky was pink and moving. Okay. It's relaxing to hear someone else complain, so I divert myself from my own problems. Fair. Are we getting forward movement? Yes. We have had forward movement. My partner manager has submitted an appeal to a higher authority, and so now we have to wait for the higher authority. But forward movement has been achieved. Have you ever used your mobile in a dream? That's... I feel like I have not. And I remember someone saying, have you ever used your phone in a dream? And I was like, because I haven't. I was like, no, I don't know. I have definitely tried to use computers in a dream though. I'm pretty sure, because I did have, I've had... Back when I was editing Just Stab Me Now, I had nightmares about the book. And I had a nightmare about the typesetting, which was hilarious because the typesetting was the thing that was completely outsourced, so I didn't have to worry about the typesetting at all. It was not even relevant at that point in time, but I had a nightmare about having to try and typeset the book. So I assume there was a computer in that dream. Who knows? People being unjustly demonetized draw sympathy and support. The channels spend half their time blaming YouTube for their drop in revenue instead of the change in their content just annoy. The thing is that there is truth to the, that there is truth to the idea that you can not change your content, but you will still start earning less money. And sometimes that is because YouTube is, how should we say this euphemistically? They are prioritizing other content, as in, sometimes it may be because, in general, they don't like you. Or when I say you, I don't mean like individuals, because it's not that specific, but they do try to prioritize some kinds of things over other kinds of things. And if you are other kinds of things, then it's not like they're, blocking you. They're just pushing, they're just not pushing you as hard as they're pushing this kind of stuff, because this kind of thing is popular right now or whatever. But the other thing is, you can keep your content the same, and that will still make you declining money over time, because audiences grow and change. And basically on YouTube, you have to change or refresh or update or something the things you do every 2 to 3 years. And that sounds kind of crazy, but if you just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, after about 3 years, you kind of hit a saturation point, and people start to get bored with it. And so unless you're gaining new audience members as fast as you're losing the ones who have just kind of, it's not you, they've just kind of lost interest in this kind of content, then you're kind of in trouble. But the thing about YouTube is you can't just keep doing the same things over and over and expect the same results, because the audience is always changing. People watch more YouTube, people watch less YouTube, younger viewers are, people are getting older, having kids are growing up. Now all of this kind of stuff. Changing your content is a requirement to remain relevant on the platform, not an option, in my opinion anyway. But that is some YouTube inside baseball right there, so I'm not entirely sure how interesting people find that, but it is something I find. Okay, so let's scroll down a little bit. That's me, I'm getting older. So are we all. So is the algorithm always changing? Yes. So basically, when you think of the algorithm, the overwhelming majority of the things which we think of as the algorithm are actually just what the audience is interested in right now. And so that changes over time. It changes over the course of the year. At Christmas, people are more likely to watch Christmas content. At Halloween, they're more likely to watch Halloween content. It changes over the course of, say, an election cycle, because people are more likely to watch things related to political content. So when there's an election going on, I tend to get a big boost in my logical fallacies video, of all things, because it gets recommended when people are, if people are analyzing debates and saying, oh, this is a fallacy, or whatever, then my content, my fallacies content, which is tangentially related, gets recommended much more. But also, things get really popular for a while and then they're less popular, and the algorithm follows that. The algorithm follows the audience. And so if you're following the algorithm, you're still like 2 steps behind, because what you need to do, what you want to do for the sake of getting more eyeballs is to follow the audience, but sometimes that means you just do your own thing, and then YouTube will, help you to find that audience. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. That part is, often there is a lot of luck involved there. I made it to a stream. Welcome. Gopher has been experimenting with views versus promotion and found YouTube weight by the proportion of your subs who view or like a video. So having lots of subscribers isn't necessarily a good thing if they're not viewing. That is very true as well. Subscribers, I have heard it described as your subscriber count is kind of like all the money you've ever had in your bank account. Whereas the amount of people who are watching you right now, as it were, that's how much money you have in your bank account right now. My subscriber count is weird and probably kind of, I want to say, not artificially inflated, but I feel like it's higher than it should be, because I essentially have at least 2 different audiences who are kind of there for 2 different things. And one of them is kind of the swords and armor audience, and one of them is the fantasy heroine audience. And there are things that they have in common, and there are videos that they both like, and those tend to do very well. But mostly, this audience and this audience, there's overlap, but there's not huge amounts of overlap. I made it to a stream. Yay! if all you're making is time-lapse videos of making a recipe that doesn't actually work, that seems to get infinite views. That's true, but well, I mean, the thing about content farms is they do just if they put up 100 videos and one of them does really well, then awesome, because they put no effort into any of them. And so they overwhelm with volume rather than anything else. The algorithm is a living being, evolved to get as much view time as possible whenever possible. They have recently changed it a little bit in that they're still trying to maximize watch time across the platform, but they are trying to do that while also making you feel like you've had a good experience. So if you've ever had one of those little things under a video or a comment that says, "What did you think of this comment? It's good, it's relatable, it's funny, it's entertaining," or if you've under a video, "What did you think of this video? It was good. I liked it. Rated on a scale of 1 to 5. You thought it was entertaining. You thought it was educational. You thought it was other." That is because they're trying to figure out what makes you happy. Like, what makes you happy to be on YouTube? Because you can get people to hate watch a whole load of stuff, but that's a bit like when they eat too many Pringles and then they feel sick and then they don't want to eat any Pringles for a while. So they are also trying to maximize viewer satisfaction, which is a much more slippery beast, but will probably do, that will probably do well for them in the long run, because unsatisfied viewers who are grumpy at the world are less valuable to you than, happy viewers, because happy viewers are probably more likely to, buy things, maybe. I'm not actually sure about that. Fearful people, I suppose, would be maybe much more likely to buy stuff, but that there's only so long you can keep that up. Anyway, viewer satisfaction as well as watch time are now the two main things that they're prioritizing for. So we'll see how that goes. I always get the surveys on videos I barely watch. Yeah. What makes me happy is seeing creators I love get paid. Tell them that. Yeah. What do you do? Optimizing for happiness is a wild concept, especially compared to other social media platforms. See, everyone who's uninstalled TikTok. Yeah. It's true that you would not think that would be some kind of weird like out there kind of thing, but it is. So like an inverse of Twitter's approach to user base. Well, yes, because Twitter is a very different platform, and the way they have optimized it is not by making you feel friendly towards your fellow man. It's by making you get it. It's by making you pick a fight and pick a side. If you considered having Caroline and Rosamund review the armor, that might be fun. You never know. We could do it for like a I was going to say Valentine's Day. That would be weird. April Fools. If this miserable time you're having with YouTube doesn't work out well, you do for a living. I mean, I have Patreon, and so I am fine. I also have, book sales, and so I'm fine. In the longer term, that's not, if that turns out to be not a sustainable level of things, I will just go get a real person job again. I've had a bunch of them over the years, so that's not a problem. Like I said, if it would have been a bad idea for me to come on YouTube full time in 2020 and not know that it's not a good long-term career. It is possible to make a long-term career from things on YouTube, but you never know what's going to happen. So it's like, if it works, then great, but the life cycle of YouTubers tends to be it tends to be like 3 to 5 years, and I guess we're coming up on 5 right now. But it can go out as far as 10, and if you pivot it, like say the Green Brothers get many fewer views these days on their YouTube videos, and YouTube isn't like the main way they make money, but they have they're still successful on YouTube, and they have parlayed this into getting to do other things that they like to do. So if you're super good at it, maybe you get to do that. And if not, you know, maybe you just say, wow, I had a really fun job for 5 years, and now I'm going to go do another kind of job, which probably isn't going to be as fun. To be honest, this is the most fun job I've ever had, but like, this jobs in entertainment are rarely good ones for long-term planning, put it like that. Every time I tell someone I'm a full-time YouTuber, they're like, wow, and like, when did you start that? And like, I was 32, I think. And they go, oh, right, and I'd been doing it for 9 years before that as a hobby and like a part-time job. I'm like, oh, right, like, yeah, it's, you know, it is, I worry about people who think that it's going to be a long-term thing, especially the people who get really big really quickly and who are young, because they don't know to save their money. And that concerns me. And I'd be like, don't spend all your money. You know, get a financial planner and pay your taxes, and don't go to jail for not paying your taxes, but also save your money, you know? I did to listen to court cases, Reddit fake storylines. You know, I know exactly what you mean. While you're at work, that's fair. Uh, this is the demon tab. Fantastic. Uh, I don't suppose YouTube gives retroactive payments. No. YouTube has evolved from enrage to engage. Yes, because like you can get people coming back to Twitter for that, at least to a certain extent. But you know, could always just be an author full time. That would require writing more books, which would I would like. I would rather not. Let's just say I would rather not. Like, I know there are so many people, and it sounds terrible to say that because there's so many people who would love to make writing books their full-time job, but I did it once and was like, wow, I'm so glad that there are other people willing to do this so that I get to read books, because this is, it was a time. You're the lady that does medieval stuff. I could not remember for the life of me while I was subscribed. Well, I'm glad you're back. But yes, that is me. I was once asked if I was the lady on Instagram with all the swords, and I was like, probably. I mean, I'm not on Instagram, but you know. What do you do? Best place to buy your book for you? Bizarrely, Amazon. If you're talking about the paperback. Actually, if you're talking about the ebook, then I guess you could go on Patreon, and then if you sign up, then you can. I'm gonna sort out a you can buy the book on Patreon and it's just a one-off fee thing at some point when I've looked up how to do that. But Amazon generally, especially if you want the paperback, because that's the one that gives me the most money for the same price for you, as it were. I think only people like Colin Firth can get a decade and over successful life on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, I've been on YouTube, or this coming April, I will have been on YouTube for 14 years. And it's you know, it's been great, but I've only been, you know, I was moderately successful after a couple of years, and then wildly beyond my imagination successful in 2020. And then we have been growing kind of slowly. We've been growing in big leaps, and then slowly, and then over the summer I basically didn't make any videos because I was doing a bunch of audiobook stuff and like sorting out house things after we moved, and there was no floor, and it was a time. Anyway, and so I was actually losing subscribers then because YouTube is constantly going through, not only do people unsubscribe, but also YouTube is constantly going through and like picking out bot accounts. Because bot accounts tend to subscribe more to more popular channels. So the more subscribers you have, the more bot subscribers you will get by percentage, which is weird, but you know, it kind of makes sense. Waiting for YouTube, a one-woman play. I believe the personality of the people involved in the channel are a huge part of their success. I'm not sure whose success. Like the just generally. That's probably true. Employment is always a gamble, I reckon. I mean, that's true. Plugging your book has worked is now on my Amazon wishlist. That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear it. See, I'm sad about the constantly changing landscape of YouTube because I like watching the same kind of things over and over. Yep, they will still be streaming Fortnite when they're 60. Well, you never know. That's the thing. Like, new games become, Among Us was huge for a while, and a lot of people were streaming Among Us and getting really popular off it. And now it's just, like, people still watch that content, but not in anywhere near the same kind of numbers. More books equals more nightmares. The burden of writing versus the delight of reading. Yeah. I wonder if this has all been an elaborate experiment by YouTube to see if people will flock to the rescue of creators they love to see how much money they could potentially make. Possibly. I mean, the thing is, they won't let me, and therefore themselves, make any money on my content. So all of the money I have made has been outside of YouTube control, because all of it has been Patreon or Ko-fi, or people buying my book, or people buying a hoodie from the merch shop, or a mug or something. I'm on one of my own mugs today. It says because it's not like just stab me now levels of bad around here. What are we doing? We're going could be worse. I don't think I have a mug that says could be worse. I might have to buy one. My YouTube experience at the moment is mid-rolls that are episodes of Peppa Pig. I want the hardback audiobook. Oh dear, the lady with all the swords, I could only dream of such an appellation. Yeah, so I didn't know for people started calling me Sword Lady, and this is not something this is not an appellation I would have chosen for myself, but here we are, and I'm like, oh, that's quite flattering actually. Would you ever consider voicing your own audiobook? I have voiced my own audiobook. That's kind of the problem. It's currently being worked on by my audio editor, but we had some microphone trouble, and so it's taking like 100 times as long as it should because of the audio issues. Hopefully I will not have to record the entire thing for a, fourth time. But we'll see. Hopefully not, though. Oh, no. Is it recorded? Yes, I know two ladies with all the swords and both are redheads. There you go. One day I really will have to get that mug. Yeah, I also have like the Just Stab Me Now one, but I put... There's one where it goes all the way around, but I feel like that's not quite as good as the one where it's just at the side. I don't know. I wonder who the Sword Lord is. I bet they exist. They probably do. Anyway, we are... it's a little after 2 o'clock here, so I should probably get going because I have to go do the school run in a bit. And, that, you wouldn't want to be late for that because they do get a bit testy. Not that I would know, but apparently, I have not been late yet, which is good, but they do, tut and things. So, thank you for keeping me company this afternoon. You are now up to date. My partner manager has submitted the form that is the escalation of all of the stuff we have been doing over the last week with the creator support people. We now have to wait to see what's going to happen after that. But yeah, if we find anything else out, I will let you know. But yes, thank you for all of your support and tweeting and Patreoning and coffeeing and all of that kind of stuff. It has been quite overwhelming to all of the support that I have got, and I greatly appreciate it. May things be better than expected and quicker than likely. Yeah, that escalated not quickly. Title of next video. You know what? Hopefully I'll be able to say that escalated quickly, but if not, either way, that's probably going to be the title, regardless of the outcome. It's either that escalated quickly or that escalated not quickly. Maybe that escalated slowly. Who knows? Anyway, have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you soon.